Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Outlifting Lounge.
This is the show all about pride, fitness, and everything in between. I'm Alan.
And I'm Derek. This week we're going to be talking about a couple of gay news stories. We are also going to be covering the Traitors finale because we absolutely have to. And we're also going to be giving some tips to help you progress with your fitness. So Alan, how has your week been?
Pretty crap, to be honest. I have somehow injured my knee, and this is what happens when you're a couple of months away from turning 45. I was fine on Tuesday, I was fine on Wednesday, and then I woke up on Thursday morning and I could hardly walk. So, yeah, it's been a fun week.
It's been a fun week for me because I've had to wait on your hand and foot. The only thing that you have been missing is a little bell to ring to call me over.
I know, you have been really good. You've been doing all the dog walks and making us dinner, and so yeah, it's just one of those things, and I've been taking advice that I would give to clients and just resting and having to think forward to next week and thinking, okay, I'm probably going to have to pivot some of my workouts. Pivot. I don't think I'm going to be doing any lower body for some time, so it's going to be all upper. Push, pull, I think is going to have to be my workouts for the next few weeks, which I don't mind because I don't really enjoy doing legs anyway.
Yeah, it's a good excuse. I have been beset with tennis elbow. So my elbow's gone, your knee's gone. Between the two of us, we have got one functional upper body and one functional lower body. So
Yeah, so obviously we're getting on a bit. I'm almost in my mid-40s, and I saw someone post on Instagram the other day saying, is this what happens when you hit 30? My back hurts, my knee hurts. I'm thinking, sweetheart, just wait till you hit your 40s. It's going to be downhill from there.
I have that you think that you're almost in your mid-40s. You're 44 at the minute. 44, 45, 46, that's mid-40s.
I know, but officially mid-40s is 45.
Mid-40s, okay. Right slap bang in the middle.
Exactly.
Okay. The only other thing I think from this week out of the ordinary has been the mosquito invasion that we have had here has been horrific. Like, I caught 2 last night, and then there was another one. For anybody listening in to this or watching this, we live in Gran Canaria. I know we mention it every week. We're just rubbing it in now.
It's
But-
like we need to mention it every week.
Yeah, but they might be thinking, God, he sounds Scottish, she sounds Irish. How the hell are they getting mosquitoes? But yeah, we have had a bit of a mosquito problem this week. So last night I was lying in bed and all I heard was, zzz, and this was after I'd already caught 2. And they're so small that they make so much noise. And I swear, it was like a Tom and Jerry cartoon last night. I had the lights on, I had a torch. I was trying to find this guy and I couldn't find him. Thankfully, I didn't get bit during the night. Did you?
No, well, I've been sleeping downstairs because, again, a problem with being in your mid-40s, I need a pee during the night at least twice. So getting down those stairs is a nightmare. So I was sleeping down here. I didn't even realise that you were doing that. I'd already fallen asleep. So, but I didn't get bitten, thankfully. So thanks for your efforts and getting rid of the mozzies.
I got the one that I couldn't get last night. I got this morning. He's gone. He's out. So fingers crossed it doesn't last much. It must be breeding season or something for them because we haven't had a mosquito in a long time.
We had in Gran Canaria.
But all of a sudden, it just seems to be like mosquito central in our house.
I know,
So,
I know. So hopefully that's them out the house.
out the house. I'll translate out of the house. Right, we have talked about us enough. Let's cover some of the gay news this week. I need to grab my laptop because I'm going to quote some figures.
Can I just say that's really surprising you said that because you love talking about yourself?
Don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to cover, now this is really super important. So Stonewall, who are a phenomenal LGBTQ plus charity in the UK, are running their hashtag Move with Pride campaign. Now this takes over from their really successful Brilliant Rainbow Laces campaign, but it's mostly about trying to get people involved in physical activity and also making sure that we have very visible sports people who are aligned with the LGBT community. So they've commissioned a YouGov poll looking at fitness within the LGBTQ plus community. What they found is quite shocking. They found that 3 times as many people in the LGBTQ plus community experience discrimination while exercising. So 3 times as much. Wild. They also found that 76% of people identifying as LGBTQ plus who were surveyed had experienced or were currently experiencing mental ill health. Now, that 76% compares to 44% of all respondents in total, so it's significantly higher. Also, 37% of LGBTQ plus respondents said that they had experienced discrimination by someone else's behavior, attitudes, or language while exercising or trying to exercise. More than a third of LGBTQ plus people felt that their sexuality was a barrier to participation in sport, exercise, or other forms of movement. And then finally, 45% of people from LGBTQ plus communities are not meeting government recommended levels of vigorous exercise. Pretty shocking, eh?
Yeah, really shocking. And I think it goes back to, and we've touched on this on a previous episode, it's sometimes maybe trauma as well from, our school days when we were forced to do certain things in PE that we didn't want to do. So we've already got that trauma about that. And then not feeling welcome or safe in environments where we want to go and exercise, which that poll has obviously demonstrated. It's really scary, actually. It's really sad.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we've spoken about this at length, but this is the reason that we set up Outlifting, which is for gay, bi, and trans guys to build confidence in the gym, to make them feel like that is their space, that's theirs to own. And it's not just us. I mean, we're doing what we do, but there are other people doing likewise. I mean, at the minute, we have got Can Canaria, who are running Adventure Week in Gran Canaria, and it's super successful. So many guys are coming over for Adventure Week every January now, and they organize hiking trips, they organize adventure sports, things like that. And it's brilliant. It's something that the community really needs. And it's proven to be so popular with guys who are looking for something different that isn't a party holiday, that isn't like Pride, where it's going to be super busy.
Yeah.
And it's great that these things exist. However, there is obviously still a gap. If these survey results are accurate, which they seem to be, there's still a huge gap where there are a lot of people who don't feel like they belong anywhere.
It's funny because when we first launched Outlifting, we obviously advertised it and we put it out on Facebook and Instagram. And I think maybe Instagram and Facebook didn't quite find our audience somehow because we were getting a lot of people commenting on our ad saying, why do you need this? What do gay people work out differently from straight people? It was like, well, that's the whole point of Outlifting. It's a safe, inclusive environment where you can be yourself. And they were just proving that point by putting on homophobic comments on that ad. And, I find on check-ins when I'm speaking to our clients, they're so open about their lives. And, there's just that communication between them and us that they don't need to feel that they need to hide themselves, which is amazing. Whereas I think if it was like a non-LGBTQ PT, they maybe not feel as comfortable opening up and talking about their lives.
That's it, Neil and Ed. What we know about coaching is that it has to be holistic. It can't just be, what did you lift? What did you eat? It has to encompass everybody's lifestyle. And it's really super important if you are working with a coach that you can have that frankness, that honesty, and you don't need to feel that you have to hide parts of your lifestyle. It is one thing being out in that somebody knows what your sexuality is and you're out to them. It's another thing being able to totally drop the veil and not feel that you have to present this masked or edited or limited version of yourself to them, which is what sometimes we feel that we have to do in heteronormative society.
It's funny as well because have you ever seen people post on their stories or they're in the gym and they're like, oh, I'm lifting really heavy or I'm doing this, I'm being really butch, but no one in the gym knows that I'm listening to Kylie or Gaga or whatever it might be. And it's just that juxtaposition of, being who you are and listening to the music that you want to listen to in the gym, but then putting on a front, if you like, while you're in there. And I get it, gyms can be super intimidating. Muscle Marys working out over at the dumbbells, you don't want to go over. But those figures that have actually surprised me at how high and what those actual numbers are.
So yeah, like we'll move on from this just now because this is something that we have spoken about. It's in a sense, these statistics are really bad, but in a sense, they're good as well because they do back up what we have been saying about and what we do. And for us, they do validate the work that we have been doing and the content that we have been putting out on this show for many, many weeks now. And it's given me a little bit of wind in my sails to keep going with that and to make sure that we keep pushing and we reach as many people as possible to try to help them get into fitness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, shall we move on to the next news story that I wanted to cover?
Yes.
This is brilliant. So, people might have seen this because it went semi viral on TikTok during the week, but it's the lesbian dating app that put up billboard advertisements in the UK. And they are brilliant. I'm going to play a clip of it just now over the video version of this, but I'll also put a link in the show notes if anybody's listening on the audio version. But basically, it is a picture of a bowling ball with the fingers going into the holes, and the caption is, "Everything reminds me of her."
Amazing. Put it in the Louvre.
And as if it isn't funny enough, but the video that went viral of the woman that recorded the video, she's just brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. So funny.
Let's watch it now.
Because why is that? Is that illegal? In broad daylight? Think of the children. Gay? You know. Have some decorum.
Love it. Absolutely brilliant.
In broad daylight. Think of the children. Think of the children. Oh my God.
And of course, all the right-wing homophobes, all the rest of it are up in arms about it. But do you know what it actually reminds me of? Do you remember years ago, there was the Hello Boys, the Wonder Bra advert that caused so much
Yeah.
controversy?
While we're on the subject of causing controversy, the other thing that we saw during the week was He-Man, the new He-Man Masters of the Universe film. So the trailer dropped for that. And there is a tiny little segment in it where it shows you the guy that plays He-Man sitting at a desk at an office job. It's got his name, and underneath it's got his pronouns. It says he/him. The ultra-right conservatives are predictably going absolutely off their nuts. Why did they have to give He-Man pronouns?
He-Man.
Otherwise he would just be man. But it struck me then, it's like, that's why they put that in the trailer. It was to cause all of these right-wing grifters to go nuts to get free publicity for the film.
Yeah,
Genius.
brilliant.
Brilliant.
Although, can I just say, it's got too many clothes in it. If we remember from our childhood, we had children of the 80s, the cartoon, he literally had a loincloth on. So,
I think the actor is legitimately young enough to be your son, so...
okay, I feel weird there.
I think at some point he'd probably have the loincloth on. I think later in the trailer he did, so...
I'm only joking. I am in my daddy era, but I'm not in any other era.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Talking about eras, the end of an era with the Traitors finale.
Yeah, that was some episode on Friday.
Brilliant. Like,
spoilers coming up, but it is Sunday, so if you haven't watched it yet, then
yeah. So spoilers. We're going to be discussing Traitors UK, and we're not holding back because Friday's finale was amazing.
I actually checked my heart rate at one point because I was on the edge of my seat. It was brilliant. That's like the whole episode. And obviously we had the conclusion to the cliffhanger to Thursday's episode with Rachel and James with the chest of chance.
That was a brilliant conclusion. Like, you genuinely didn't know how it was going to go. And for Rachel to be saved by the skin of her teeth was phenomenal. So good. I was convinced that was her time up. She was gone at that point. And I thought, do you know, I think Stephen stands a chance of winning the whole thing by himself, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah.
They played a blinder.
They did. There were so many moments when I thought that Stephen was going to throw Rachel under the bus. And I think that's why my heart rate was peaking.
Do you know, I think there were so many moments when Stephen thought Stephen was going to throw Rachel under the bus as well. You could see it in his eyes. He was so thinking about doing it.
And then obviously at the end, it just shows how much of a lovely, lovely guy Stephen is by not going back on his word.
They are a brilliant duo. I want to see them do everything. I want them to be the new Ant and Dec. They need to be everywhere, doing everything, presenting everything. The brilliant.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Richard and Judy.
God, that's a bit of an insult.
I know.
Also shows your age.
I know. No, Ant and Dec for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see them everywhere. They were brilliant together. There were so many little twists and turns in that episode. When Rachel was at the bar and she said, if I was a faithful, oh my God. I was like, you're done. You're done. You are pan bread, dead. You're gone. You're out of the next banishment. And still, she's like Teflon.
Nobody even picked up on it because they were
No.
also still thinking about what happened to James at the round table, so nobody even picked up on it. She was so lucky.
One thing I will say, as a traitor, one thing that she did that was really smart was she eliminated the older players. So she essentially, by about the halfway point, she became the oldest. You know, once I think once Harriet was gone, certainly. So she became this senior figure, and all the rest of them were, you know, maybe 10, 15 years younger than her. And you even heard Faraz at the finale said they called her grandma.
Yeah.
And I think she worked that quite well because it gave her almost a sense of authority among the remaining faithfuls, and that's what really sealed it for her.
Do you know what I love? What she said on Uncloaked is they were talking about FBI training, and she's like, no, it was literally like a free ebook of like 40 pages that I downloaded.
A one-day course in an ebook. Brilliant.
But of course, she just planted that seed that she'd had FBI training. It's like, you did essentially, but everybody thought it was bigger than what it was. I thought that was brilliant.
So yeah, the Celtic cousins won. They got rid of the Welsh, and it was the Irish and the Scottish. Just like me and you.
Just like me and you.
That won't be on camera. We're going to be off camera, but okay.
And it was what Stephen said, let's take this Celtic connection to the ends.
Yeah. Like exactly what we're doing together. Who knows when the end will be?
There's now a void for Traitors, but Traitors Ireland has just started, and obviously we're watching Traitors US at the minute, which isn't quite hit the UK yet.
No. So anybody in the UK who hasn't seen Traitors Ireland, I think they've dropped the first 2 episodes on BBC iPlayer, and then they're going to release them. Watch the Traitors Ireland. It is a phenomenal series.
Really
it's so good.
Yeah. So that you've got that, and then you'll have Traitors US coming, which is a bit different because it's celebrities that do it. And it's not like UK celebrities where they give the money to charity. They actually win the money themselves. So it is cutthroat. It is something else.
Most, if not all, of the celebrities that are on the US version are reality TV celebrities. So they are like Survivor, Big Brother, Real Housewives, things like that. So it is quite cutthroat. They all go at each other. They all have arguments. Very, very good. What I will say, so we'll talk about the American Traitors in more detail. I think it was episode 5 of Traitors US this season. There is a bit of homophobia in it that made us so uncomfortable.
God. Yeah.
So we'll not discuss it because it hasn't aired in the UK yet, but buckle up to that.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. But in the meantime, Traitors Ireland, absolutely fantastic. And I have to say, as somebody who is Irish and grew up watching Irish TV, RTE, I mean, I feel so proud of the production quality of RTE productions nowadays compared to what they used to be when I was younger. I mean, it puts Ireland on such a global standing. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it feels like the BBC version and the US version, doesn't it? Yeah.
Brilliant, really high quality production.
Yeah.
So good.
But can we just say Jade from the UK one, like we loved her for such a young woman. She like holds herself so well, articulates herself so well. There was, so when the traitors were revealed to her in Friday's episode, like she was really shocked because obviously Stephen had voted for her at the round table, but the way she handled that was beautiful.
Yeah. Everything in her stride. She's been through some real trauma in her life, and to go through all that at a young age and to come out the other side and to be this really poised, well put together, really thoughtful, polite, considerate person is just really phenomenal. She deserves only good things in her life now.
I was a little bit heartbroken when she was voted out because she's fab. But then once it was like the 4 of them left, Stephen, Rachel, Jack and Faraz, I was kind of like, well, we definitely want Rachel and Stephen to win. Jack and Faraz, I felt were just like kind of fillers towards the end. You know, they didn't really do that much on the castle.
Lovely guys, but didn't really deserve to win because I feel like they just coasted along under the radar. And it could be argued that was a strategy to play the game and to get to the final, but Yeah. When you saw the amount of work that Rachel and Stephen had to put in, they deserved it.
Yeah, I know. I think we shed a tear last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
Don't
I
know
was
if it was
very happy.
the half bottle of wine or just because we were emotional about it.
I think as well, if Faraz and Jack had have won, I wouldn't have been totally disappointed because Faraz spoke so much about wanting to go to Mecca for the Hajj pilgrimage. And I just thought if he had won, how many of those like gammon-faced reform supporting, homophobic, Islamophobic
No.
in the UK would have been absolutely fizzing about it. So I wouldn't have been disappointed if either won, but I'm so happy that Rachel and Stephen took it. They are just such a phenomenal combo. Brilliant ending to a brilliant series.
Yeah, can't wait for the next one to come on.
Okay, we have covered gay news, we have covered Traitors news. Shall we move on to the fitness section?
Let's do it.
I've got my trusty laptop on my knee because we are going into Reddit this week for the fitness section. It is a Reddit thread on r/beginner fitness that I found, which I thought was really, really good. So the title of this from the poster is, what's one thing you stopped doing that actually helped your progress?
Love that title. That's so good. Yeah.
And especially at this time of year when so many people are getting into fitness or getting back into fitness. So they said, I realized doing less but sticking to it helped me more than trying to do everything right. Curious what others experience. Now, we've spoken about perfectionism and why it doesn't exist and why it's a trap before, but yeah, they figured that out. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if you can do less but get better or more results, then that's a win-win combination. You just need to figure out what it is that you need to do less of. That's going to get you to where you want to be. It's going to be different for everyone. So, like, and I think there's quite a few different answers in this as well.
Yeah.
Each of them are like valid in their own right.
Oh, totally. This is a goldmine of good advice. So we thought we would just like touch on some of these in the podcast. So we're not taking credit, but a lot of these are things that we have previously said on the podcast. So here's one that I really loved. So focusing too much on the end goal of what I wanted to achieve and not enough on the small steps I needed to take along the way to get there.
Brilliant. Yeah. And that's what we advocate for all the time. All those habits that you're building, all those wins that you have, celebrate all those small wins, no matter how small they are. Because the end goal is the end goal and you will get there, but you need to build those building blocks to get you to that end point.
And the thing is, if you're focused on this end goal that's really far away, on the days when you are having a bad day or your motivation's low or whatever it is, that's something that seemed 10 miles away suddenly seems 100 miles away. And it's very demotivating if you're just looking at this end goal and feeling like you're really far from it. So yeah, brilliant advice. So another one that I really liked was, honestly, I stopped trying to be perfect all the time. No more over-planning workouts. No all or nothing mindset. No guilt if I missed a day once. I focused on just showing up consistently and doing the basics well. Everything clicked. Progress got way easier when I stopped treating fitness like a punishment and more like a long-term thing I actually want to stick with.
Yeah, absolute gold, that one. And I think it's the all or nothing approach is definitely something that I think a lot of people fall into. So it's like, oh, I'm doing really, really well, bump in the road, I've f***ed it, and then you just stop. And then it's hard to get back into it again.
I'll be the first to put my hand up, guilty, and especially I think that's especially prevalent in me because of my ADHD. And a lot of people with ADHD find that they do suffer from this all or nothing thinking that totally then paralyzes them because they can't get going again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
definitely.
I think the key point in that one is the consistency. You know, it doesn't matter what you're being consistent with, as long as you've got that consistency there and it's something that's having a positive impact.
And yeah, that ties quite well into the last bit, which I thought was the key takeaway for me was the thing about it's a long-term thing. So stopping thinking of it as I'm trying to get fit, I'm trying to get fit. No, you are changing your lifestyle long-term. And when you view it that way and you start thinking of yourself as, instead of I'm somebody who wants to get fit, you think of yourself as I am someone who goes to the gym. It's that flip in identity that is really going to work because long term, that's who you're going to be.
Yeah.
You need to let yourself believe it first.
Can I talk about Ian, actually, our client? So he's got an end goal of Mighty Hoopla in May. He wants to be wearing nice little titty tops, as he called it. I'm sure he'll be fine with me saying that. And he has, yeah, that's the end goal, but he has been so consistent. So since before, Christmas, but then he had a little bit of a break at Christmas. But since Christmas, he's had more results than before Christmas, and it's because he's turning up. He's been consistent with his nutrition. He's been consistent with his workouts, and he's enjoying the process. And he's just in it. And because he's getting those results, because he's being consistent, it's motivating him even more. And he's absolutely smashing it just now.
That's it. And it doesn't have to be a slog. You can enjoy the process. This next one might seem contradictory to what we just said, but this person has said they stopped thinking short term. It's okay if your weight didn't move in the right direction for the past 7 days. It's okay if your measurements didn't move in the right direction today. It's okay if I couldn't lift as much today as I could on my last session. I figured out that I need to compare month to month, not week to week or day to day. That is brilliant advice, especially when it comes to looking at the scales.
Yeah, I think if you take a macro approach to it rather than a micro approach, then that's going to serve you well. And although they're saying there, oh, I wasn't focusing on the short term, more the long term, but that's more in terms of let's look at all the positive things that have happened rather than focusing on that one negative thing. And that's when, again, the all or nothing approach can come in,
Exactly. That's the thing. Progress is not a straight line. It doesn't go all the way up. It's like a piece of wet spaghetti. It goes all over the place. It goes down, it goes up. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad weeks. So it is important in those terms to look at your progress over longer time frames instead of trying to focus in on just what you've achieved.
Yeah.
Very important to celebrate the small wins at the same time. So every day to day, celebrate your small wins, but don't focus on the things that you see as negative day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. As humans, we tend to focus on the negative things. So think about your last week, work, gym, whatever might have happened.
Getting bitten by mosquitoes.
Getting bitten by mosquitoes. If I asked you how your week went, probably the first thing that people would say is, well, actually, I did it earlier. I talked about my knee, but actually me being laid up for a little bit gave me an opportunity to do some Spanish, which I've been wanting to do. So actually that's a positive that's come out of that, but I just focused on that negative there. And people do it all the time on our check-ins as well. I'll be like, how's your week been? And they'll say, oh, I didn't get that workout in. I'm like, but what did you achieve? And then they can rhyme off 5 or 6 things that they did achieve. And that's a prime example of that.
Yeah, totally. This next one, this just like absolutely speaks to me. I stopped shorting myself on sleep, which is something I did for a few years in order to get more training in. Existing on 7 to 9 hours sleep is so much more superior to existing on 5 to 6 hours sleep. I train a bit less now, but the results are worlds apart. I'm also less hungry all the time, less grumpy, and more able to focus. Now, for me, I've spoken about sleep being a struggle for me. It's probably the biggest block, and it's the biggest part of my ADHD that I hate. My mind overworks. If I wake up during the night, I find it really difficult to get back to sleep. My sleep is broken, it's disturbed, and it's very irregular. I have tried this year as one of my New Year's resolutions to really focus on my sleep and my quality of sleep. And I have to say, we're definitely getting there. I found things that work for me. I still have some bad nights, but the quality of my sleep has definitely been better. And I've noticed that my mood is improved. I'm definitely have more energy. My brain fog lifts. Yeah, definitely sleep, I think, is huge, and so many people underestimate it.
Yeah, it's key to your goals, really. You can perform better in the gym because you've got more energy, and also when you're tired, it increases your hunger hormone, ghrelin, which means you're going to eat more. You're probably going to want to snack more. You're irritable more, and when you're irritable, what do you want to do? Grab foods that are going to give you that instant gratification. So yeah, sleep is super, super, super important for fitness goals.
Yeah, and what I've also found is that as we age, we definitely need more sleep. I mentally, I still think I'm 25, as you know.
Yeah,
And
you say that quite often, and I need to remind you that you're in your mid-40s.
thanks. Not yet. Not until August.
Almost.
But yeah, there's just this thing about sleep. As you get older, you still think in terms of being young. So when I was in my 20s, I could have survived on 5 hours sleep, no problem, and got on with things fine. Nowadays, that is game over for me, especially if I have a few nights like that where I have not slept well. It seriously impacts me, majorly impacts me. So I need to acknowledge the needs of my body as they are now at this age.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Right, what's the next one?
This one's short and sweet. So the next one is they stop drinking alcohol. So we we had a bottle of wine last night between us, and I want to say that's pretty much a special occasion for us because it's the first time that we've had alcohol in maybe a couple of weeks.
Since Christmas, really? Well, yeah, since Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. So, oh God, that's more than a couple of weeks. So we have not stopped drinking totally, but we don't drink very often. We do notice the impact that drinking alcohol has on us. It affects our mood badly. It can affect our quality of sleep again. And yeah, I think it stops you from really achieving what you want to achieve. And I don't particularly like the way that alcohol makes me feel the day after or the couple of days after I've been drinking. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's a good one.
yeah. Everything in moderation, it's about balance. If you're someone that likes to enjoy alcohol, it's have a think about the things that we just mentioned about your moods, couple of days after, your quality of sleep. But yeah, it's definitely something that we've reduced greatly over the past few years, I would say, because we just don't enjoy the days after.
No, and we don't need it to have fun, have a good time. So yeah. Right, well we pick one more and we'll finish.
Let's do it.
Right, this is just one last one. This is quite long, but I'm gonna just focus on the first bit. I stopped avoiding carbs and now I feel a lot more energetic in general. Absolute gold. We've spoken about this before. There is this thing, I think, and I do think it's definitely a generational thing. It's our generation in the UK in particular. There was this whole period in time where carbs became the enemy. And we see this, there are trends with nutrition, and suddenly it's like you have to have lots of protein, or you need to have lots of fiber, or you need to have all really good. But I think there's just this tunnel vision focus on different nutritional trends. And for a while, carbs became this like public enemy number one. We've touched on it before. It was The Only Way is Essex.
No carbs before marbs.
No carbs before marbs. And that became like a thing. People saw carbohydrates as the enemy of progress, when really they are what fuel you and fuel your workouts.
The body's main energy source.
Yeah.
And that, hits the nail on the head. As soon as I started eating carbs again, my energy increased. When we were doing the research for the show and I read that one, I was like, oh, it's great that they've flipped to introducing carbs rather than stopping carbs, that they've went the other way, which is perfect. And also as well, from a aesthetics point of view, if you're eating carbs, you're going to, if you're wanting to look a bit bigger and a bit bulkier, carbs are going to do that because the glycogen from carbohydrates are then stored in your muscles. So cutting out carbs is not the way to go. And that's all I've got to say on the matter.
And that's the tea.
And that's the tea.
Okay, laptop down because I'm done with that just now. The last thing I will say about carbs is that instead of focusing too much on trying to cut down on carbs, focus more on the quality of the carbohydrate sources that you are eating. So instead of stuff that is really high GI, so stuff that's going to be a lot more sugary, things that are going to be broken down in your body a lot quicker, focus on low GI. So that's glycemic index. That doesn't mean that you have to completely rule out anything that is high GI. So what we're really talking about, or what I'm really talking about here, is complex carbs, carbohydrate sources that also pack quite a lot of fiber in. the carbohydrates in the food will be digested more slowly. So that also gives the added benefit of making you feel fuller for longer as well, because they don't break down in your body as quickly. You're also not going to get that blood sugar spike as rapidly. It'll be more consistent over time. So changing some of your carbohydrate sources to low GI will help you avoid that kind of spike and then the slump. It'll be a bit more even. So it's not even that complex, if you'll pardon the pun, to figure out what the complex carbs are. It's things like brown rice, wholemeal foods, anything that has been a little less processed, not really bleached, things like that. They are going to be better for you in general as your carbohydrate source. But again, I will say, it depends on you, it depends on your diet, what's convenient for you. So none of this is to say you can't eat this or you can't eat that. That's not what we do.
80-20 rule.
80-20. Everything in moderation, so long as 80% is
minimally processed whole foods, and then the other 20% things that are more indulgent. So that could potentially be those high GI foods that you're talking about.
Yeah, totally. Okay, have we finished that section then?
Yes.
Shall we wrap up the show?
Let's wrap it up.
Just before we go, I want to remind our subscribers of our birthday offer. Outlifting has just turned 1, something we are really, really super happy about, super proud about. Over our first year, we have helped so many guys transform their bodies and build unstoppable confidence while they do it. If you think you could benefit from our services, that is online personal training, we offer nutrition coaching, accountability coaching, and much more. You can, at the minute, get a discount. So from now until the end of January 2026, if you book in for a free, no pressure discovery video call with one of us, you can get 30% off a regular coaching price. Now, to lock that in, all you need to do is tap on the link in the notes, and that will bring you to a booking page where you can book in for your video chat with us. And then you can talk with us on that chat about what your goals are, what you want to achieve, what has held you back before. And then you can figure out if we are a good fit for you as well before you sign up. So lock that in now, tap the link, get it booked, and lock in your discount.
We really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at podcast@outlift.ing. And if you don't follow us on social media, why not give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and our handle there is @outlift.ing.
Remember, new episodes every Sunday. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss out. We are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music, and practically any other podcast platform you can find. So hit subscribe right now so that you do not miss out.
But that's us for now. So until next time, over and outlifting.